Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending this webinar around Webi 4.2 SP06 and what the future of Webi is. Really thank to all of you that are joining today. I think we've got over 1,000 people that have registered for this webinar. It's been a real success. And I'm really happy to see that Webi is still popular, but even more popular than what it used to be. So thank you very much to all of you attending today. So around Webi, just a few facts is basically Webi has been out for quite a bit of years. And as of today, Webi is still the #1 reporting tool on the BI market. And I think over 70% of Fortune 100 organizations are using Webi, and over 20,000 organizations are using Webi today in production. And this can be from organizations from less than 10 people, which typically would be on Edge, or up to organizations of 500,000 users today. So it's really very, very widely spread. What's great about Webi is basically it's able to do complex and very heavy reporting. And as a result today, a lot of organizations are using it for operational reporting and mission critical reporting. Another great advantage around Webi is actually recently I was discussing with the city of Chicago, and they were telling me how they were using Webi. And they're just saying, hey, Webi today is awesome because it's really a self-service tool, and you can very easily create reports and interact with all these different reports. And it's quite easy to create reports on your own. Another interesting thing is talking with SAP is actually today Webi is the #1 tool within SAP that's got the biggest amount of enhancements, because there are lots of requests on a regular basis from the customer base to SAP on improving the products, giving some new ideas. So actually that's really great to have that, because that helps to have the product evolve and get more and more features always. So today the special speaker that we have is Gregory Botticchio, product manager at SAP BusinessObjects Webi. Gregory, do you want to say a few words about yourself to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Welcome, everyone. Thanks a lot, Bruno, for inviting me. Thanks a lot to JB and Smith for inviting me and to allow me to share with you what's going on with Web Intelligence. Like you might have guessed, today's session will focus, of course, on Webi and what you can expect in the future Web Intelligence for the 2 Series Pack 6. Before to move on, I would like to add a few words regarding one of the recent announcements made by SAP regarding our analytics roadmap. You might have noticed that we put a lot of the focus on cloud and hybrid on a product called SAP Analytics Cloud. What I would like to highlight and share with you is, even if, yes, we did this announcement regarding the cloud and hybrid, that we're going to invest a lot in this area, we will definitely continue to invest on our on-premise offering, and specifically for SAP BusinessObjects Web Intelligence. And you will see that after my presentations regarding what's going on within the Service Pack 6 plus the roadmap, we have really great things to propose you in the near future.
Okay, thank you very much, Gregory. So before we start, just a few words around 360 Suite that's co-hosting this webinar today. Is 360 Suite today has got over 2 million end users just on business objects. And the reason people are getting 360 Suite today is basically it helps them to maximize their business object investments. And it also helps them to reduce their operational cost, meet regulations such as GDPR, SOX, FISMA, etc., and also helps them to upgrade to the latest service packs or go on the cloud. And one word too is I've got a lot of people in our team that are listening today. We've got 70 people in our organization, and more than half of them are engineers that are supporting all our customer on a daily basis, and that's really part of our DNA. Gregory, I'll pass it over to you to present. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bruno. So let's do a deep dive into what's going on inside the web engines for the two SAP BI6. So I hope I can move to the next slide. Let's see. Yes, the legal disclaimer before we start. So between the time I'm doing this presentation and the effective release of the SAP BI6, things can change. So whatever I'm going to share with you, this is our plan, and they can change, as you might be already aware of this. So Web Engine, this is a product positioning slide. Web Engine is really good at ad hoc query and interactive reporting. The tool is not difficult to use. You can do great things. And if you want to learn this tool, and if you want to propose it to your end user, they will be able to achieve great things in the area of operational reporting and mission critical reporting. But also, because the tool is quite agile, you can go beyond this first usage. You can achieve many, many things with this tool. I'm not going to spend much of time on this one, so let's move on. So today, I'm going to explain you what you can expect for Webi for the SAP BI6, plus what you can expect after the SAP BI6 and the next year as well. So first topic, Web Engines Interactive Viewer. As you might have noticed, since the version 4.2 SAP BI4, we have introduced as an option a new way to consume all your existing Web Engines documents. We call this new interface the Web Engines Interactive Viewer. This is another way, in addition to the HTML client and the Java report client, to consume all your existing Web Engines. But the difference is that this interface is more simple to use first, and really propose use additional things which are great, such as it works on all modern devices, such as a laptop with touch screen, any tablet or smartphone, as long as you design your Web document to fit on the screen of a smartphone. Plus, all the interactions, the way to interact with the report has been simplified and enhanced in the way that you don't have to search for a specific menu across all the options that we could propose you. Everything is evident, everything is simple, but even if everything is simple, you can propose complex documents via this new interface. So this interface was introduced in SAP BI4, and we have enhanced it in SAP BI5, and in SAP BI6 we will continue. One of the very first things you will see into the new Web Engines Interactive Viewer is a function called automatic refresh. This functionality speaks by itself. It means that now you can make a Web document full screen if you want, and once you have done this, you can specify the frequency of the refresh of your Web document. Every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, it's up to you. But the good thing is that once you have done this, no human intervention has to be done. The refresh is performed automatically based on the settings you have defined into this functionality. You just have to answer the prompt only at the first time. You decide how many minutes between the two refresh. Plus, you can decide which query, which data providers has to be refreshed. If you have a Web document with 10 data providers, with this functionality, you can decide that, okay, every 10 minutes, I'm going to refresh only 2 data providers on 10, because only these 2 data providers have to be refreshed. So in addition to this, you get a performance gain. Second functionality that we're going to export in the interactive viewer is the ability to control finally the drill. So there was with the it should be a pass. There were some differences in terms of functionality. Before, to use the drill inside the Webi document, open into the new Web Intention Interactive Viewer, you had to save the Webi document with drill enable. So now, starting SAP BI6, it will be possible to enable or disable directly the drill functionality directly from the interface. Everything will be exposed via the menu item, so you will be able for Webi document which will not have been saved with drill enable to activate it and to drill up and down on your Webi document. Okay. Another functionality that you're going to benefit for the interactive viewer is the UI customization. So now this functionality is not new. So you introduced it sometime in, if I'm correct, it was 4.1 SAP BI6, or maybe, yes, 4.1. Well, let's say for the SAP BI2. It works nicely for the existing classic interface, so the HTML and the Java report panel. And with this functionality, you can decide to display or not which button inside the interface. And now we have extended this functionality with the Web Interactive Viewer. It means that if you want to propose to your end user a Web Interactive Viewer with only one button, which can be show me my filter bar, or show me only the export to button, you can achieve this in the same way that you would have done it via this UI customization dialog box.
Thank you very much, Gregory. So during this webinar, we've got a few different polls, and the intention behind the polls is basically trying to understand how people are using business objects, which version they are, and what are the best ways actually to leverage business objects. So please, anyway, respond to that poll. And also at the same time, please feel free to ask some questions during the webinar. So at the end of the webinar, Gregory will spend some time to answer to all the questions that were raised today. And as well, if you look into the menu of GoToWebinar, you've got the possibility actually to upload some attachments around 4.2 migration, cloud migration, or GDPR. Thanks a lot anyway for all answering to the poll. And by the way, people that will be answering the poll will be offered free BI on BI health check assessment, and we'll be basically offering 20 of these today to people that have been answering. Pauline?
Okay, so should we close the poll then? Looks like we've gotten a lot. So here, I'll close the poll. Looks like the majority of people are on 4.2, SP4, or SP5. Not very many on the older versions, and a lot, still about 30%, 31% on 4.1. Okay, so let's move forward then. Okay, so this next topic, Gregory's going to show us some additional information, so additional features with the Webi Intelligence Designer. So Gregory, could you share us what the new features are, some of the new features?
Yes, of course. Thanks, Pauline. So second part of my presentation is about all the new functionalities we're going to deliver for the power users, the people who have to create the Web Intelligence documents inside the Web Intelligence Designer. The first one that you were asking since a long time now, is to get a true time dimension. So what is it about? We provide you the ability from a date dimension to create a time dimension, and once we get a time dimension, it will be possible to get a time hierarchy. So let me explain. So now imagine you create a query, you get a date, dimension date. March today, so 1st March 2018. From this dimension date, it will be possible to generate automatically additional dimensions such as the week, the month, the quarter, the year, and it will be possible, once you have all these dimensions, to generate a time hierarchy that you will be able to use inside a table or inside a chart. So this presents a lot of advantages. First of all, you will be able to get a chronological order of your date via a true time axis, meaning that if in your date dimension you have some information are missing. For example, you have the date for today, tomorrow, but not for after tomorrow and not for after tomorrow. It will be possible because we have this dimension to manage missing data and to display them, to position the right information on the right time axis. So we can with this functionality, it will be possible to manage the whole inside your date and to present the data via a true chronological order. Another thing to be possible to drill along the hierarchy, so from year to quarter to month, etc., etc. And one additional thing, it will be possible to create your own custom calendar. So either you will say with the Gregorian calendar, the one that you are using all of us today, or to create, for example, a fiscal calendar, the one that you are using to perform your fiscal reporting. So this is one of the first things we'd like to propose you: time dimension, time hierarchy. Second improvement inside the designer, and we love this one, is the ViewTime Security. This ViewTime Security is not a new functionality. That's something that exists already inside Crystal reports. This is the ability to propose a document with all the data, but at the opening of this document, depending on the profile of the user, the data is going to see will correspond to its business profile, meaning that you refresh one Webi document, you put all the data, and at the opening, the document will filter itself automatically without the need to do a refresh on open or one additional refresh. We will do the filter at the opening, the filtering action we'll do at the opening of the Webi document. The business profile will be the one defined in the Unix, so we call this business security profile. It works for users. It works for a row in a specific data set, or it works also on the object. So meaning that if I can't see the object's country, when we open the document, I won't see the object country, something else will be displayed. But if the object country, I can see only the data related to France, I will see only the rows corresponding to France, and all the other countries will be hidden for my consumption. So ViewTime Security planned for the two size pack 6. Another thing we are planning is a functionality called Intra-document linking. So I'm pretty sure you are familiar with the open document functionality, which is an API that you can use to go from one Webi document into another Webi document. Here, this is the same concept, but imagine that now inside one Webi document and one single Webi document, you will be able to navigate via this new functionality from one report into another report, but inside the same Webi document, or from one report, jump immediately to view immediately a specific block into another report, but still inside the same Webi document. This one is pretty useful, for example, if you want to create in a specific report a page summary that will contain highlight on what each report of your document contains, and every time the end user will click on one of the links in the page summary, it will go immediately in the corresponding report. Another thing we did this time for the open document URL, we have added additional controls. So now with open document, when you will open the Webi document, you can choose that the output of the open document action can be an Excel. So you can open the Webi document via this URL, or you can open it in PDF. Now we have added the option to open it in Excel. You can remove all the user interface by adding a new control, S report mode equal light. So in this case, all the menu items will be removed. And you have added additional controls for the prompts based on SAP HANA variable and SAP BEX variable in the case of you want to consume your complex variable. So we added a lot of syntax that you can add into the control to achieve this. For example, if you want to see all the country which are after in the list of value Germany or before Germany, that's the kind of things you can achieve by using the new syntax. Another thing for the designers is the ability to choose inside your Webi document which data providers, which queries can be refreshed when you hit the button refresh or when you open the document with the options refresh and open. The fact is, inside the Webi document, in average, you have 7 data providers, 7 queries. And every time you click on the refresh, before you will get this option in the sales practice, your document will refresh the 7 queries, the 7 data providers will be updated. So now you have the choice. Either you decide, I want every time I hit the refresh the 7 queries, the 7 data providers, or refresh only queries number 1 and queries number 2 and not all the others. So you can get tremendous performance gain because you minimize the number of queries that have to refresh among the list of data providers. And it means that not all the queries have to be refreshed every time the document is open. For example, I have a query based on my list of products. Does my list of products change every morning, every day? If the answer is no, so in this case, I can create the data provider based on my list of products and check not refreshable. But all the other data providers using this information will be refreshed, but not this one. It works on all data providers such as UNV, UNX, of course, SAP Direct Access, SAP HANA, Free and SQL, the text file as a data source, and .csv as well in the near future. Another one, just to mention this one, we already a new type of data provider. So we get the feedback, so okay, using Excel as the data source will be great, check, but now we need the .txt and .csv file as well. That's what you are planning for the sales pack 6. You can use your .txt and .csv file as a data provider for web engines. When I say web engines, DHTML, right, from the web. Okay.
Thank you very much, Gregory. Actually, I really like the time dimension and the time hierarchy. I think that's going to be super helpful for a lot of Webi users. So we've got a second poll right now. The second poll is really around understanding what you're planning to do in the next 12 months, whether you plan to go to do any upgrade, whether you plan to go on to remain on-prem, or whether you plan to go on the cloud, such as AWS, Azure, or SAP HEC as an example. And by the way, just feel free again to ask questions in the menu of GoToWebinar and to upload the white papers and the articles we have there. Pauline?
Okay, looks like we've gotten a lot of responses. So it looks like a majority of people, about 72%, are planning on going to 4.2 in the next 12 months. Okay, so I'm going to close that poll. And we can move on to the next slide. So yeah, it sounds like, Gregory, it sounds like there's some great new features that you're adding. I'm excited about those. I'm going to have to start doing more Webi development. I haven't done as much as I have in the past. So I understand that you're also including some customer requests in this next release. Can you share those with us?
Yes, here you have a few examples of the things that you are asking us to include into Web Intelligence. The first one, the page intersection, is a desktop intelligence function that used to exist only in Webi, in Desky, and now we are you will get exactly the same function, but in Webi, this is the ability to calculate the page number inside a section, and not to have, if you have numerous sections, you have a continuous page numbering. So now you can decide if you want to say, okay, inside section number 1, I have page 1 to page 4, and section number 2, that's page 5 to page 6, or if you want to have the normal behavior, I have 2 sections, section 1 and 2. Section 1 starts at page 1, section 2 starts at page 10, for instance, etc., etc. So these kind of things will be delivered. Another desktop functionality that you're adding in Webi is the ability to do the export in PDF of your Webi document with the bookmarks. Today, when you do export to PDF of your Webi document, you don't have the bookmark generated. So now you have the choice, either export Webi into PDF with a bookmark or without. It will be a matter of choice. And 2 last one, fill the table break footers with measures and support the context when doing context reporting scheduling. So when you schedule a Webi document, support the context defined for your Webi documents. That's some of them, right?
Okay.
Thank you very much. So we'll launch the 3rd poll.
Okay, so this is launched based, this is a question about what type of reporting databases you use.
So again, here behind the scene is to understand better how you're using business objects and to see behind the scene, okay, which database you're using. Is it HANA? Is it Oracle, MySQL, or other databases? Pauline?
Okay. Okay. Looks like I'll close the poll now. It looks like the majority it's about a tie between Oracle and SQL Server, and then it's not close, not far behind.
Oh, okay. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Gregory.
Okay, this one is about all the enhancements you are planning for our SDKs, the REST APIs, the REST web services. So we are planning to add the following ones: so APIs to control the question of the time dimension, APIs to control the geo dimension, API to create a Webi document on top of a text file or CSV file, API to get the list of all available objects, API to get define the data provider which can be refreshed or not. So in fact, it's just a catch-up list, meaning that in SP6, for the 2 SP6, we are planning to enrich the REST SDK with the following API to control the new functionalities. But in the meantime, we will expose also some of the new functionalities we delivered in 4.2 SP5. And for some of them, they do not surface into the REST API. In SP6, they will. That's pretty much what we have for the RESTful web services.
So on the next poll, so this poll is really to understand which other analytics solution you're using today within your organization. So what we understand is that organizations more and more are using or are becoming bimodal organizations in terms of analytical solutions. And actually recently there was a survey from, I believe, Forrester that was actually saying that most organizations they've got at least 5 BI solutions within their organizations. So we're just trying to understand what these are. That's actually becoming something that's very common to have people using BusinessObject as well as with it solutions like Tableau, Power BI, Click, or Spotfire.
Okay, so it looks like I'll close that. We've gotten a number that have responded. Looks like Tableau and other are the highest other BI solutions that others are using. Okay, so we can go on, move on to the next slide.
So Gregory, what can you tell us about the roadmap, about the future of web intelligence? So based on what I see today is everybody's really excited about Webi, if I can judge based on the amount of people that have registered for this webinar. And everybody wants to know, okay, what is the Webi team going to come up for 2018, 2019, 2020? So what are the highlights of what you guys are working on in your labs?
Okay, of course, Bruno. So what I've presented today is our plan for the Service Pack 6. The Service Pack 6 is planned for July this year, so that's in 4 months from now. And for this year, 2018, we'll get also a second Service Pack 7, which is planned for end of this year, so December 2018 or the first month of January 2019, and the list of improvements that I presented today are included into the column 2018 plan innovation. Things that we're going to deliver this year that I did not present are, for instance, the support of all your custom visualization or extension point inside the new Web Intelligence Interactive Viewer. So we have to do something here because these are great functionalities that exist today into the HTML, but which are not supported by the new Web Intelligence Interactive Viewer. The charts will be improved in the sense that you can expect additional capabilities within the chart interaction, the way you interfere with the charts inside the new interactive viewer will be enhanced, such as it will be possible to do a zoom and pan, to do a lasso selection, for instance. We have started to deliver in this area, for instance, in this 4.2 Service Pack 5. So I recommend you to test the new interactive viewer that you deliver in 4.2 Service Pack 5. Such as other things that can make the difference. For example, all the blocks into Web Intelligence, so table and charts, will be enhanced in the sense that they will be beautiful by default. So today, the feedback I'm receiving for the customer is when I design a Webi document, the first thing I'm doing is to change the look and feel of my table and my chart because the blue ribbon for my table is awful and the default option set for my chart does not correspond to a modern way. So we will propose you beautiful chart with the right setting for a modern consumption by default. We will propose you a new chart type in Webi, such as sunburst, a funnel, and last one is a Sankey chart. Additional dev key catch-up. One last thing for this year we are planning on, for instance, is Webi will be able to consume SAC analytical cloud model, and we are planning to enhance the merge function in Webi. In Webi, you can do a merge. Tomorrow, what I would like to propose you, is the ability to choose what kind of merge. Is it a left join? Is it a right join? Is it a full outer join? This kind of things for this year. Next year, the main things we are planning is to enhance the consumption experience and the general interaction you can expect within your Webi document. So imagine that you open a Webi document and you decide as an end user that all the blocks being displayed, every time I interact with one of the blocks, the information will be used to filter all the other blocks. That's the concept of global element thinking. And to achieve this, you should have to click on one button. Custom tooltip is another way to provide additional information for your end user, but inside the tooltip. I have a bar chart today. When I select the bar in my bar chart, today I can see the dimension and the measure. Tomorrow, what I like to propose you is to add additional dimension information or another measure, and why not directly a chart that will be changed in the context of the bars you have selected in your chart. And so on and so on. So you have many things. Regarding the designer area, we would like to propose you templates and to ease the consumption of your data you have to propose you the ability to create a custom hierarchy, 3 dimensions, country, sales, country, product, and salesperson, and you create this as a custom hierarchy for your reporting, etc., etc. So as you can see, we have many great things to propose you for the coming year, and yeah.
And Gregory, I see on your roadmap you're talking about hybrid. So basically today we see organizations that actually don't want to go on the cloud. Some organizations want to go on the cloud, whether it's on SAC or they want to go towards, let's say, AWS, and they're going towards hybrid models. How do you see cloud in the future in general?
In general, so first of all, cloud remains an option for you if you are a business object, the classic SAP business object customers who invested a lot in, for example, in business object solutions. So what we like to propose you is because we are investing a lot in hybrid, and Webi team is contributing already today to the hybrid strategy, is to be able from SAC, for instance, to access your on-premise investments, such as your universities. Today, that's already possible, but in the future, why not accessing from SAC the information you will have, your end users, your power users will have defined into your Webi document, such as the merge data providers or the blocks used inside the Webi document to create additional things, but from SAC. And another way around is to allow Webi engines to benefit for all the innovations that SAC can propose. For example, via an SAC model, I can access to SAP Hybrid, SAP SuccessFactors, SAP Ariba, and all those cloud data sources. If Webi engines can access SAC and the models, I will be able to access heterogeneous cloud data sources via SAC. But the good thing is it remains an option.
Okay, that's quite nice, because I've seen numerous customers today that they have some interest for the cloud, but for multiple reasons. They say, well, I don't want to go on the cloud, and that was really a concern for a lot of organizations. So I think that's reassuring. And on the other side, what's kind of nice is with SAC, some of the directions are that you'll be able to leverage your investments that you've done on your universes. Is that correct?
Excuse me, can you repeat the question?
So basically with SAC, what you're saying is there's going to be some options in the future where you can actually leverage some of the work you've done on your universes?
Correct.
On-prem? Correct, okay.
Yes, correct. That's already possible today, and we are working hard to improve this access. And the good thing is this is an online access, which means that the data remain on-premise and nothing is transferred to SAC into the cloud. The value proposition is an online access to your universes.
Okay, thank you. Also, during this webinar, something I wanted to bring up is recently some bunch of users have launched a new community of Webi. So it's called Webi for Me, and there is actually a link on LinkedIn that's in the chat box that you can go to, and you will probably be receiving within the next day or so an invitation to join that community. So what it is it's just a community of users that want to share best practices around Webi, how to use Webi. And the nice thing is every 2 months there'll be webinars around Webi. So I believe the first webinar that will be in 2 months, we'll be presenting with your team, Gregory, will be around which topic?
Yes, exactly, Bruno. So in 2 months, what we are proposing you is to do a joint presentation with Pascal Godin, with a product expert in the Webi team, and the session we have to propose you is tip and tricks on creating great visualization inside Webi. We have many options inside the chart. Some are known, some are not really well known, and some options are even hidden, and the idea is to show you how to activate them to create great viz into Webi.
Thank you. And also, the presentation of today will be available on LinkedIn if you join that community, as well as the roadmap. Around 360 and around the topic of today, so basically we've seen that a lot of people still didn't go on 4.2. So 360 basically offers a set of solutions that are very easy to use and install that will help you to do an assessment, and then they'll basically help you in the whole process of going much faster, much easier with for a fraction of the cost that will allow you to do the migration. And in the first step, which is around the preparation, as I've mentioned, we'll be giving away 20 free BI on BI assessments, or if you've got a need around that, please just send us an email. For customers that are actually going to the cloud, so we've also got a new process actually to help customers go on the cloud, which is around the 10 steps that were popular for the 4.2 migration. And some of the main differences there is with the on-prem migration is we're trying to emphasize the performance issue, because a lot of people going on the cloud today have got performance issues. So that's always a big problem. In the attachments that you have in the menu, there's a use case from Harley-Davidson on how actually they've saved over $1 million using 360 Suite. So that's pretty cool. We presented that recently at a conference in Huntington Beach, BI Analytics. Now is time for questions. So please feel free to ask all your questions. Pauline, what are the questions today?
Okay, so the first one is, what are the areas in which Webi is investing the most? That's for Gregory.
Okay. Yep, of course. The first one, the first one is inside, let's say, the new interactive viewer. Really, it's logical. Most of our end users are just consumers, so we will have to propose to them a modern way to consume all your existing web intelligence documents, but it's not sufficient, we think. So we have also to focus on the interaction area of web intelligence. So we would like to propose to them a new way to interact with them, with their existing web intelligence documents. I mentioned the global element linking, which is a way to, let's say, in one check, in one button, to allow to filter all the blocks available on the Webi report all together. The custom tooltip is another way to enrich the information and to inject some kind of, let's say, contextual information, but not displayed via open document, which will open another report, but directly inside the tooltip, which is what the customer is using. So the first area is really the new Web Intelligence Interactive Viewer. Plus, we have also to focus on our designer. They continue to ask to us great things in terms of simplification of creation of Webi documents, but also in terms of access to data. That's really the two areas where we are investing in.
Okay, great. The next question is about the auto refresh function. So Andy's asking, will your BI Launchpad session time out with no human interaction, or will your session be left open?
No, the session will remain open.
Okay.
The time that the auto refresh is active.
Okay. Okay. The next question is the folder feature related to groups or in general? I don't, you know what that's.
The folder feature related to a group or general. I think I don't have the context for this one.
Yeah, me neither.
Folder.
Okay. Okay. We'll we can follow up with that individual.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Next question is Webi pixel perfect?
No. Yes and no. Yes and no, in the sense that we don't have this tolerance. We don't support the pixel, but we support more than millimeters, which means that if you want to create a pixel perfect document, the purpose is what you see on the screen. You will get exactly the same when you do an export to PDF or when you print your document. You can achieve exactly the same result by using two techniques. The first one is to position the blocks relatively to another block. We call this relative positioning. And the second technique is to give fixed size to each of your blocks. So once again, we support 0.00 millimeters tolerance. So it's almost pixel perfect, almost.
Okay. Okay, the next question is full Webi coming to the Fiori-based Launchpad?
Not yet. We have this in our backlog. It's quite important. We had the idea in providing you a designer which will be written completely by using the Fiori technology. We give up because it was too complex and too costly, and you will have to wait 4 years to get this. But you are working on something that, yes, you will see some similarities between the new interactive viewer and the designer that you have today. You're going to rejuvenate the designer. At least that's our plan and one of our objectives. Not for this year. Yes, for the year after, probably.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Next question. Our executives are using Webi. Can we use Webi to build dashboards?
People are already doing this today, right? The tool provides enough capabilities in this area in order to allow Webi to be used as a dashboarding tool. Moreover, we propose use additional interactions that can be used, that can let you think that Webi is putting a step in the dashboarding area. Let's say that Webi, you can build quickly some light dashboard. That's totally feasible today. It's not a full dashboarding tool like Excelsius or Lumira Designer, but if you want to build quickly a nice dashboard with nice visualization and nice interactions, well, Webi is a good solution.
Okay. The next question, this is about the time dimension
Yes.
feature that you mentioned. Does time dimension mean that BusinessObjects will accept timestamp data type?
Timestamp data type. So let me think. Timestamp data type is yes. I wonder that we accept already to the timestamp data type to create a date dimension. So from there, whatever the type of date information you provide, we will be able to generate the derived dimension from there. We should.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is a long one. So in SP6 in the Fiori Launchpad, do we have the capability to create a new Webi document?
In SP, okay. You will still have to use the classic HTML designer.
Okay.
Which means that for the consumption will be great as a new interactive viewer, but for the action regarding the design of a Webi document, you will fall back to the classic HTML designer. And I think we keep this option. If you go into the new interactive viewer, if you expand one of the menu, you have launch, execute, or open the designer. And if I'm correct, we have this option is still there, and it will open the classic designer. Yes. So if you want the full solution end-to-end, you will have to wait a little bit.
Okay. Okay, the next question, this is also time dimension. I think that sounds like that's a popular feature. They're asking if it's translated into the language they're using on the platform.
The time dimension. Here the question is about the formatting. So depending of the language and formatting choose for your browser, which should be respected by Webi, does the time dimension will leverage it? That's a good question. Brian, it's coming from Brian. I have to check this one.
Okay.
I have to say I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Next one also. So any functionality in time dimension for hour? Is that?
Oh, that's a good one. Did we? You mean that you have expanding the time dimension to above the date? You would like to go below to access hour, minutes, seconds. Good one. I don't. I should know. I think the specification we write didn't go in that sense, but let's take it and see if you can get this. Today, I think the spec does not include this this granularity.
Okay. Okay. The next one is Web Intelligence Designer. Is that the Webi Rich client or is it on the Webi BI Launchpad?
It must be both.
It's both. Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay, and then okay, it says the Desky and Applet are being converged into DHTML Webi Designer. Are there any plans to converge DHTML Webi Designer into the Fiori Launchpad?
Like I answered this one previously, yes, you have some plan to provide you a rejuvenated designer a la Fiori in order to provide you an end-to-end experience, viewing and creation from the new BI Fiori Launchpad.
Okay. So the refreshable checkbox, does that also work with scheduled documents?
Yes, you have considered this use case, definitely. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So if we disable refreshable option for a query, how can we refresh the report? What's the use of this?
So once again, if you disable the refresh of all your data providers inside your document, effectively, when you hit the refresh button, nothing will happen. So why this option? Once again, we notice that in average you have more than 7 data providers per Webi document. The question is, does all the 7 data providers do they have to be refreshed all at the same time? The answer is I don't think so. Your use case is, for example, if I have a data provider that bring into Webi all my product references, my list of products. Every time I hit the refresh button, does my list of products has to be refreshed every morning? Obviously, the answer is no, because I don't think you are updating your list of products every day. So in this case, if you have a 1 million reference, do you want to generate a refresh with 1 million reference every morning? The answer is no. So in this case, you will be able to not refresh this data provider, but maybe all the other data providers, which can be all my sales for my list of products have evolved between today and yesterday, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, the next question, just to be sure, will the time dimension be capable of showing time periods like a weekly turnover without facts? For example, business holidays in week 23 and 24 as a column?
Yes, the answer is yes. We would like to consider all this specific use case, meaning that define your own custom kata, which can be, okay, I'm working 3 days per week, the other days I'm not working. So we consider all this situation. So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. Okay, the next question is, what are the advantages of going to the cloud or AWS compared to on-prem?
Compared to on-prem, it means that you delegate the maintenance and the support of a platform to your partner. Mm-hmm. So it means that you don't have to take care of all the the materials needed to run your cluster. Mm-hmm. Right, everything will be in the cloud, and you can ask your partner during this kind of migration to support you in all the future update, upgrade, etc., etc. But at the same time, You might be you keep all your existing document and way of working, right?
Right. So, and is that a problem if someone can't go on the cloud? Is that an issue that you see going forward as far as with the roadmap?
Can you repeat the question?
Is that a problem if someone can't go on the cloud? Do you think that's a problem?
No. We will continue to invest in our on-premise solution, and I hope I succeed in convincing you. We will deliver great things for this year, and the next year we have great plans for you. So we will continue to invest in our on-premise solution.
Okay.
And to support you.
Okay. Okay.
So I see questions how the unchecked refresh query will be refreshed.
Okay.
You're right. You have to refresh first, at least once, the query before to check not refresh, because you want the data to be populated inside the data provider. Otherwise, if you do a purge and click do not refresh, there is no way to get the data for this specific query. So you have to perform one refresh, uncheck, and then share your Webi document.
Okay. So there's a question about any plans to enhance the chart engine in SP6?
Chart engine in SP6, yes and no. Like I said, additional interaction within the chart inside the new weight engine interactive viewer. The chart engine will keep the same, but the look and feel of the chart, all the blocks in SP6 will be enhanced. We call the concept, this project was called Beautiful by Default, which means that today, for instance, when you create a new table, the header is blue and the body of the table, you have a mix of blank white row with a light gray row. Everything will be changed, including the default look and feel of your chart.
Okay, sorry. Okay, question about are APIs available as a source, i.e. connect Webi to an API to source for data?
Let me find this question.
Sorry, it's further down.
Yes, is there a functionality where in table? No, it's not this one. API. Okay. For more is the question, please, from Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
Further down. What is the timestamp for the question? Excuse me.
I don't know.
Are APIs available
as a source? Yeah, I don't know.
Are API available as a source? Connect Webi to an API to source for data.
API as a source to connect Webi. Yes and no. Yes, they are available. No, you can't touch them because they are not public. But it might be a good idea to make them public. It's just internal way of connecting to new data, but potentially today, Webi can connect to any data sources. That's what you are doing when you propose you a new an evolution of the connection server to connect, for example, any other things. Yeah.
Okay. Another question, this is about report development. So we have a report that has a field that contains a large amount of data. When it spans across multiple pages, it gets cut off at the bottom. Do you have any suggestions on how we could resolve this? They're on 4.2 SP4.
Take this one. Where is this one? Let me read it.
It's the next right under the API one.
Okay, I saw it. I have just to find it back in the list. No, I don't have a suggestion for this one. But once again, for all the questions that I won't be able to answer, I will take them offline, and I think we have some plan to provide some answers to your questions on the blog that is going to be created with the recording of the session. So don't worry, I will take time to review all the questions that you have. Maybe let's start from the bottom of the list. I'm going to really at the bottom.
Okay.
Maybe if you got time for 2 or 3 more questions, and then
yes, of course.
Okay, so you went to the bottom of the list?
Yes, I'm looking, for instance, at what else?
So a lot of people asked when SP6 will be released, and Gregory said that it's planned for July 2018, so this year.
Exactly. Webi report based on BW are consuming a lot of memory. Any plans for optimizing the memory consumption? Not for optimizing the memory consumption, but yes, regarding how Webi can be better on top of BW-based data sources. We are investigating internally the latest SAP connector available to consume BigQuery. The name of this technology is called Firefly, and Webi should be able to propose you this. In this case, Webi will be able to support more naturally the BigQuery. In fact, the Firefly connector is what SAP Integral Cloud is using, and I think that's also the case for Lumira Designer, so Design Studio. Okay, I'm moving a little bit up in the list of questions. Okay, you mentioned the relative position in the previous formatting response. Are there any plans to streamline this formatting process and take out some of the tedium with the options to drag and drop snaps to the report element capabilities like in other tools? Yes, we are considering to improve all the block positioning into the report canvas. There, you have to be extremely precise in regarding where you position your block. Indeed, what we like to propose you is a SAP to grid capability.
There was a question around Webi dashboard, and I see Nicholas Henry actually put a link on YouTube that I just shared in the chat box around the Webi dashboard.
Okay, not news inside the Webi document. So another question, for instance, I'm working on many reports which has many of variables inside. Client asked me to optimize it by deleting all variables which are not in use. So in order not to crash it, is there a way to know which variables are not in use inside document? Is there a way there might be a trick, but complex, by using a lot of algorithms, by using the SDK. But in the future, as part of the designer, we like to help you to identify which objects and variables are used in your report canvas or not. So like this, every time you open a Webi document in design mode, you will quickly identify what is used and what is not used in order to optimize the list of objects, but also the list of variables used in your reporting.
Let's do a last question.
Last one. What else? Let's pick one. Comments during the flight support and.
So someone's asking about when Webi will allow for a date in a chart to be formatted using a desired date format, such as YYY, month, month. So,
I think that's already the case today. You can
okay.
achieve this if you access the right axis and you, and depending on the dimension, it should be doable. But once again, I will check to answer most of the questions that you have today. But there is a lot, right? A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Check. So we will continue to.
You take a last one, Gregory, and then the other questions will be answered through social media or through email.
Two questions. Yeah, is a comprehensive list of the differences between 4.1 and BI 4.2? The answer is yes. You have to search in Google, for example, what's new in Web Engine 4.2 SP2 or 4.2 SP3 or 4.2 SP4 or 4.2 SP5. By doing this, you will get the list of all the enhancements you have added on the 4.2 stack. This is a cumulative list, so it means you will get all the different. You will see all the new features added in 4.2 compared to 4.1. Last one is, will there be any improvement enhancements for SAP BI Mobile? Yes. From BI Mobile, you will be able to open the Webi document by emulating the new Webi Changes interactive viewer. So, which means that depending if you have designed your Webi document to fit inside the screen of a smartphone, you're able to consume it as if you were on your laptop with the same options, meaning that all the charts available, all the filtering capabilities enable, and so on and so on. And yep. I would like to thank you for all the questions. There is a lot of interesting questions. Yep.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for joining. Thanks a lot, Pauline, as well. And then we'll get back to you with all the remaining questions that need to be answered. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot. And thanks for the participation.